Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back with another video. I hope you're well wherever you are, and I hope you enjoy these videos. Another one of my series of videos. So anyway, I know I was thinking for November I wanted to do something different, but unfortunately I sort of stuck to maybe for December, a month later than planned. But because the number 11, which is November being the 11th month, sort of for me means like I think of like changes or making things different. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. As I say, I've had quite an unproductive day in a way, although I did get to play with my kittens and stuff like that. But I did want to write as much as I could, especially as it's a Wednesday, like writing Wednesdays, writing Wednesdays and that kind of thing. But I'd love to write on paper, but I keep getting writer's block for some reason. So I think psychologically, for whatever reason, I struggle to get my thoughts onto paper despite having all these ideas. But anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Today is exactly 4 months since my 41st birthday, unfortunately. I was very gutted about turning 40, much less or much more 41, so I'm pretty gutted. But I thought this would be a good day as it's a Wednesday and it's exactly 4 months since my birthday. And I suppose exactly what 9 months till my next one, if I make it that far. But anyway, I hope you enjoy. I'm sorry if I'm waffling, but I think that covers everything for the intro. We got a bit of frost here in the UK for anyone who might be watching overseas. But here are my dreams, basically, for a publishing house, as I put it, or a publishing company, which would be quite ironic given my punctuation and handwriting, well, especially my punctuation in particular. And I mentioned this idea a while back. I had this idea a while back with a couple of dyslexic guys, and they said it would be quite ironic, dyslexic people making a publishing house or company. I call it house for some reason. But anyway, I dream for it to be the world's local publisher, or the world's local library even. So I dream to make as many things available online as possible. And anyway, I'm going to stop waffling. And if I've forgotten anything, I'll try and cover it at the end of the video, especially if I got through the video quicker than planned or whatever, or it didn't take too long. With that being said, here is a list of some of my ideas. I find it easier to do it in list form. So I hope you enjoy my mad, creative, quirky, neurodiverse thinking and ideas, and the irony of a dyslexic person, albeit one who learned how to spell but has terrible punctuation, making an idea like this. But anyway, here goes. So number one, of course, I would love to get it started as soon as possible, preferably as soon as possible. I did want to get it started on my 40th birthday, or even before that, really. I've always, well, not literally always, if I take it literally, but I've wanted to do this for a long time. I can't remember how long when I came up with this idea, probably when I was about 20, so about 20 years ago. So I have had this idea for a long time, but I've struggled to express the idea in a way that other people could understand and look at how to put it into practice. So hopefully recording on videos hopefully will help me. Perhaps that's another irony, but yeah, so basically starting it ASAP. It'll be great to start it at Christmas. I was thinking of all these different ideas I wanted to cover, and one of the things I wanted to cover was like how I I wanted to finish off my videos like about my Christmas shopping list and things like that. So I realized there's lots of videos that I haven't finished, that I started, that I didn't finish the 4 parts, which I normally like to do. But anyway, so basically to get it started ASAP, I think it'd be pretty cool to start at Christmas time or something like that. Point number 2. So one of the things I dream to do, I'm glad I didn't include this in point number 3. You'll probably see why or hear why in a minute. But basically, hopefully less in a minute. But basically, I dream to get together what I call the 6. Hence why I didn't want to include it in point number 3. But what I call the 6, which I mentioned before. So basically, Indigenous people, and stroke or POC, people of color, maybe even all around the world, but especially across Africa, Australasia, like Aboriginals, Torres and Straits, Pacific Islanders, and Maoris. Basically, Indigenous people, as I say, from across Africa, Australasia, the Americas, Asia, and Ireland, and also Latin America. So basically what I call the 6, which I mentioned before. I dream for them to all come together. So emerging market economies and stroke or former colonies. So people from those countries to all come together, to work together on websites generally, actually, come to think of it. But in this specific case, it would be to make an online publishing sort of company. I put in brackets online because I dream for these books to all be online. So yeah, I dream for them to all work together, network together. I know some people might argue there could be too many sort of heads, so too many cooks spoil the broth. It could be that they kind of disagree with each other and argue and get in each other's way and struggle to make decisions. But I hope that they'll agree to disagree amicably. And so I dream that it will unite together these, what I call the six, as much as possible, and they'll work together to make websites generally, maybe even their own, dare I say, their own versions of social media all around the world. I don't know if I should say that on Facebook and YouTube, but I do wonder how much of these ideas I should give away and how much I should keep secret, as I often say. And one of my fears is, like, dare I say, racist people boycotting the company. So I do fear that, but I thought I'd share the ideas and take that risk all the same. Moving on, number 3, talking about not wanting these to be too long. Point number 3, I hope to talk about how the idea would work as much as possible. So basically, these are, I think of my own personal visions of how I'd want, or ideals, if you like, and dreams, or all of those things, visions, ideas, ideals and dreams, thoughts and whatnot. And so basically how I would like it to work ideally, mostly I'd say. And I use the terms interchangeably, like ideals and dreams and whatnot. But anyway, sorry, trying to get to the point. So ideally, anyone would be able to publish a book that they submit to this company, the M.K.S. Books Online, or M.K.S. Books for short, M.K.S. 4 books, or M.K.S. Books for short, as I say. But basically, anyone in the world would be able, if they could just send a manuscript or whatever, so even something from Word, and the company, I dream, will ideally publish pretty much any piece of work on one condition: that it's legal, and that the people who sell their books agree to sell them all for just £1 sterling, in all possible countries around the world, same sort of price, or the same price ideally. Again, these are my ideals. They might have to be tweaked or whatever, but and it would be free to send these books. There'd be no upfront fee. So if you publish your books through us, then if and when this gets up and running, hopefully, in my ideals, each book would sell for £1, and the publisher would get 50p, which is obviously half. And ideally, so the publisher and the author would both get 50% each, to put it simply. So you'd only get a small amount of money for each book you sell, but you'd be able to sell them all around the world. Number 4, another thing is, because it's free, you could easily just take a risk and try and sell through this publishing company. But you could also maintain ownership. So for instance, you could also sell in other ways. You could self-publish, and you could sell through other websites, other publishers, or whatever. So you wouldn't be tied in to this company. So that could give you more. It could be something you just do as an extra or as a risk. So you could sell through Amazon or whoever else, but you could also sell to this company on top of that, or promote your books and sell your books through this company on top of that. So I hope that made sense. As ever, if you have any questions on any of these points, please let me know, and which your most favorite, what you dislike about the idea, what you hate about the idea, what you like or even strongly like or even love about the idea. I'd love to know. But yeah, so basically, Joe Blogs, if they wanted to sell their books through us, they would just submit the book. It'd be free. They wouldn't have to pay anything until they sell the book, or the books, hopefully in the plural, from their point of view and from the publishing company's point of view. So it'd be of mutual interest. It'll be of interest of the publisher and the authors, respectively, to sell as many of these books as possible, because obviously then the company would get more money, and the authors, obviously, respectively, would get more money. So again, hope that made sense. Number 5, I dream also, as I say, if I'm being idealistic, for the company to sell as many books as possible. And I dream, and I'll probably cover this point a few times, but I dream for it to be available, accessible and whatnot all around the world, 24 hours a day, preferably, 7 days a week and 365 days a year. So pretty much always, hopefully, unless like it goes down for maintenance or whatever. But hopefully people work on trying to make sure this website is up and running as much as possible, so people could publish their books through this all the time. And also it could sell advertising space, which could be another source of revenue. I hope to look into all possible source of revenue. But again, it would be hopefully be available 24/7, 365, all around the world. I can't remember if I mentioned, but I'd say it would be quite ironic if I managed to achieve many of these ideas, since I've got the memory of a goldfish, apparently. But yeah, sometimes I have really good, excellent long-term memory, but a really poor short-term memory, I think. But it's like opposite how it's supposed to be. But yeah, sorry, it's almost like it takes me a while to remember something. But anywho, ironically, I forgot my train of thought. But yeah, so it'll be available 24/7, 365, all around the world, hopefully, in all possible countries, and that kind of thing. In some countries, the laws might be different. So what I was going to say is there'll be one condition that, or at least one condition, and that would be that the books are legal in the country they're sold in. So if China has some sort of censorship, unfortunately, I might disagree with that censorship, but obviously we would, well, I say obviously, we would respect their laws, hopefully. That's, again, going on my ideals. These are all my own personal ideals. It might have to be twigged, as I say, but this is how I would love it to work. Number 6, I dream for it to benefit people from what I call the 6, as well as myself. I'd love to write my own stories and have them edited and get to tell my own story and hopefully have fun, and that kind of thing. But I dream for it financially to help people from what I call the 6. Ideally, I wouldn't take any money out of the company. I just want to do it for a bit of fun, and hopefully to benefit those in developing nations in what I call the 6. So unless I really needed the money, unless I was like homeless or starving or whatever, and I could withdraw a salary, then I would, assuming it works, it gets set up and then makes enough money as well. But ideally, if I can make enough money, let's say I monetized my YouTube channel, I'd just live off that if I could, and this would all be for the benefit of people from what I call the 6. So I dream for as many people from Africa, Asia, Latin America, the Americas generally, indigenous people and people of color, maybe even all around the world, helping each other to make this work and to benefit people from Africa, Australasia, the Americas, Asia, and Latin America and Ireland as much as possible. The only country in Europe I'd probably benefit would be Ireland if I could. But yeah, again, these are my ideals. So I dream it would benefit as many people from what I call the 6 as possible, as well as people at POC, which I might come to in more detail. Number 7. So again, in my ideals, again, how it would work, anyone would be able to take a risk. They might even think, I've written something for a bit of fun. I could gamble on it and sell it on this publishing house or publishing company, the world's local library, hopefully. Again, if I'm being idealistic, and it's free up front. So I only have to pay if and when I sell a book. So if I sell a book, I pay 50p and I get to keep 50p. I know it's not a lot of money per book, but hopefully the accessibility of it and the cheapness of it will be something that's very appealing. It would all the only conditions would be they would have to be legal. You agree to give up half the money. Again, that might have to be twigged. I don't know. And you can keep the ownership of your book or books. So if you wanted to sell through other sources, it would be another revenue. So this could be just additional revenue. But I'd love to know what you think, if I'm being naive or if that's actually quite a good angle. I think that gives it quite a good attractability, or whatever the word is. It makes it very attractive. Hopefully, I hope it will make it very attractive for potential authors, because you get to maintain ownership, but this is something extra, an extra place where you can sell. So although you wouldn't make much money per book, it's an extra sort of revenue. So you can still sell books on Amazon for more money, you can still sell books elsewhere. But this will be an extra source of revenue. I was thinking I could probably go into more detail, but I hope to do that possibly in part 2 or 3 or 4 or all 3 of those. But yeah, I'm going to move on because I know this took has taken longer than planned. Again, someone who stutters on my words and things like that, I think it would be quite ironic for someone with poor punctuation, terrible punctuation, possibly the worst punctuation in the world, such as myself, to make something like this work. Although it would take quite a long time for someone to edit my writing. Hope I don't give them an aneurysm. That's a big word for me. But anyway, yeah, I think it would be quite ironic, especially if lots of dyslexic and neurodiverse people, especially dyslexic people, are involved in such a thing. I mean, for autistic people, I think it'd be great for them to have expression as well, because sometimes I think a lot of autistic people probably do struggle to express themselves. Someone told me I'm autistic, apparently. A couple of people told me, 2 or 3. But anyway, I'm going to move, maybe 4 or even more. But I'm going to move on. Number 8. Again, I hope maybe people of colour, POC, as I say for short, will work together on this. When it comes to Ireland, I'd say the indigenous people, because Ireland was colonised, but maybe more diverse areas, given recent events that have happened in Ireland and a lot of racism that's happening in Ireland. But anyway, that's a controversial issue. I know they'll say that there's too much immigration or whatever, but yeah, I have a passion for this idea, and I hope to see if it could work. I hope to do it just for fun and to enjoy it and to express myself. I forgot to say, actually, in point number 7, I love the irony of like smart works. If you could work smart instead of hard, if I could replace hard work with smart work, I definitely gobble up that opportunity, because I love the idea if I could write a book and actually enjoy writing it. It doesn't really feel like hard work at all. If it didn't feel like hard work at all, but I managed, maybe with a bit of effort, but it's just like, because it's fun, I enjoy it, and that kind of thing, I'd class it as smart work. That's probably the difference to me between hard and smart work. Smart work is something you find a bit easier, but also something you find fun, enjoyable, and exciting, and something that gives you pleasure and that kind of thing. Whereas hard work is something that you don't really like, but some people might do that for money. But yeah, so I thought it'd be quite interesting. Like people say in life, you've got to, I suppose people seem to give the message that you can't enjoy life, you've got to work, you've got to keep working and doing things you don't enjoy, and you can't do what you enjoy, and things like that. That seems to be the message that so many people give, especially if you don't do well at school or things like that. So I love the idea that that you can do things that you have fun with and enjoy, and instead of working in a factory or a job you don't like generally, unless you enjoyed something like that, or being a bin man or something like that. I don't think I'd enjoy any of those practical jobs or jobs where you had to do the same thing over and over. I love like telling my story, even though I do repeat myself a lot, ironically, so I'm a bit of a contradiction. But yeah, I love the idea you can do something you love and still make money, and hopefully this is a revenue that a lot of people could follow, and I hope I'll enjoy my content creation, whether that's writing or answering on YouTube or whatever, making videos and whatnot. I hope I can enjoy that and make enough money to live on. I say I'm not that materialistic, so for me personally, I hope I can fundraise as much as possible for things I love. Number 9, that would include Italian football, Celtic, libertarianism, supporting people from former colonies, and helping to tackle poverty and suffering and alleviate suffering as much as possible. And yeah, those are my priorities, and those will be a lot of things I hope to write about. And number 10, on that note, hopefully this will encourage as many people from all ages and backgrounds, especially young people perhaps, to get into writing, and hopefully it'll be accessible for like people to read. One argument I hear for like why people like paper books rather than reading them online might be because they like to turn the pages and things like that. And like people like to receive letters with envelopes, so they love to open the envelope for whatever reason. But I was thinking, what if you could do stuff like that online, where it made it feel like you were turning the page, or it like if you clicked a button and it made it feel like a proper book or real book or whatever, if you want to call it that. And similar with other things online. So whatever's made online, maybe we could end the printing press, which is a bit hypocritical of me as someone who hoards so much paper, or tries to hoard so much paper before it gets taken away from me. But and would love to write when and wherever possible. But maybe I could start doing this and digitalize it, as people told me in the past, instead of writing on paper. I love writing on paper, so that'd be difficult. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling, and as ever, I'd love to know what you think. I am out. Peace and love.